In this video, we'll go over a quick summary of order of operations. One way to help you remember order of operations is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And this little phrase helps you to remember to do what is in parentheses first, then evaluate any exponents. Then you're going to do multiplication and division from left to right, and then addition and subtraction from left to right. So for example, if you have something like 4 minus 1 plus 7, even though the addition looks like it comes before the subtraction, you're going to do all addition and subtraction together from left to right. So in this case, working from left to right, you're going to do the subtraction first. 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 plus 7 is 10. This is also true for multiplication and division. Here, it looks like multiplication would come first, but you always want to work from left to right once you get it down to just multiplication and division. So in this case, I've got, let's make this a multiplication, which you can use a star or you can use a dot. When you have all division and multiplication, you're going to go from left to right. So do this first. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Then do the multiplication. 4 times 4 is 16. Now, if you have a problem that has parentheses, we said we want to do parentheses first. So I'm going to do 7 minus 2, and that's 5. So I'll rewrite this as 15 minus 3 times 5. So now we're down to subtraction and multiplication. You would do multiplication before you do subtraction. So I want to do the 3 times 5, which is 15, and then last I would do the subtraction and get 0. Now what happens if I throw some variables into this? So if I have 15 minus 3 times x minus 2. Now, order of operations does say to do parentheses first, but I can't simplify x minus 2. That's as simple as it gets. These are called unlike terms. So x minus 2 can only be x minus 2. So here's where we would apply something called the distributive property, and we would actually multiply through to eliminate the parentheses. So it may be helpful to remember that the definition of subtraction is that subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. And then you're going to use the distributive property, which means you're going to take the negative 3 times both of the quantities in parentheses. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And then negative 3 times, and it might be helpful to change this to plus a negative so that you remember you're going to be adding. A negative 3 times a negative 2 is a positive 6. So you're going to do the multiplication first before you would do 15 plus. Then from here, we collect our like terms. So I'm going to gather together the 15 plus 6, and that's 21. And then negative 3x cannot be put together with 21 because this is a variable, this is a number. Typically, the variable is written first. So negative 3x plus 21. Now, in a situation where we have more than one variable, so like in the following situation, let's say we have 18 minus 2w times w minus 7. Once again, I can't do parentheses first because this is as simple as it gets. I'm going to change my subtractions to adding the opposite. I'm going to do the distributive property, which means I multiply the negative 2w to each term in parentheses. So negative 2w times w is negative 2w squared, because w times w is w squared. And then negative 2w times negative 7, a negative times a negative is a positive 14w. And then I just bring down the 18. And then at this point, I'm going to put it in what's called descending order. So I put the variable that has the highest exponent first, followed by the next variable, followed by the number 18. Usually I put the numbers, which are called the constant terms, last.